I'll call the case, and I'm just going to ascertain who is present, particularly because we can't see you all, and then we'll proceed with the argument.
Okay, we're ready.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm calling the case of 2022 J0452, ING Direct Real Estate LP versus Robert Kennedy and Julianne Limon. My name is Peter Sachs. I'm an Associate Justice of the Appeals Court. Today is Thursday, August 18th, 2022, and we're holding this hearing on the tenants, Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Limon's request for review of the appeal bond order issued by the Housing Court. First, I just want to ask everyone to introduce themselves. Ms. Legata is with us on video, and Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Limon are here on audio only. Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Limon, why don't you introduce yourself first?
Good morning, Your Honor. Robert Kennedy.
Good morning, Your Honor. Julianne Limoni.
Limoni. Okay, sorry about that. And Ms. Legata.
Good morning, Your Honor. Laura Legata on behalf of the plaintiff.
Okay, thank you all for appearing on fairly short notice. What we're going to do is ask Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Limoni to go first and make their arguments. Each side will have 15 minutes, and there will be a timer that appears on the screen. For the tenants, you can't see the timer, but I will try to let you know when you're approaching the end of your time. And we have essentially three issues to address, I believe. One is whether the tenants are indigent. Two is whether the tenants have any non-frivolous issue to raise on appeal if the appeal of the Housing Court's decision on the merits goes forward. And third is whether there is or should be any stay in effect because of the pendency of any raft application under Chapter 257 of the Acts of 2020. So I hope that each of you will address all those issues, and I'll have some questions for you, but if we can set the timer up, then I'll ask Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Limoni to begin their argument. So, okay, timer is going. Please begin, Mr. Kennedy, Ms. Limoni.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to thank Attorney Legata. I was not aware of this hearing for this morning until she had a package dropped off at the apartment last evening. So I kind of quickly this morning tried to put together a little bit of a timeline that better explains our situation. Between the dates of July 6th and July 11th, Attorney Legata and I tried to work something out as far as staying in the apartment till the appeal was heard. Her clients were not interested in that. On July 12th, in the early morning hours, I was taken by ambulance to the Winchester Hospital, where I spent 3 days. I had they described as a TIA, small stroke. I was in the hospital for 3 days, out of work. I don't return back to work. The target date is August 29, 2022. So that was the reason why we weren't present at the hearing on the 12th. On the afternoon of the 12th, when they admitted me to my room, I did call Northeast Housing Court and inform them of my situation. They told me that the judge had taken the case under advisement and to check back with the court at a later date. I checked back with them a few days later when I was discharged from the hospital. And again, they didn't have any new information for me. On the 29th, I was advised by the court, the Northeast Court, that I had until August 4th to request review of the appeal bond. And then at this point, that I could explain that why we weren't in the courtroom on the 12th. On the 9th, the court advised me that the clerk would assemble the record for your review. Last evening, I got the package from Ms. Legata with her response and proposals, and called the clerk's office at the appeals this morning to try to find out some more. I then checked my email, and there was an email for this link, so we were able to get on in just in time. And during this process, I've had talking to the folks at Raft. They informed us that the Raft application was still pending, and that we had supplied all the information that they needed. They requested from us on 2 different occasions the landlord's name and telephone number, which I gave them the Reading Commons, which is the facility that it's named, as well as their general email box. They checked with the folks at the resource line yesterday, says they have not heard back yet from the landlord at this time. Spoke to a couple of folks as well during the process at the lawyer of the day, very helpful folks. This is, representing yourself in a matter like this isn't probably a great idea. And they advised me that the summary process trial shouldn't have even taken place with the RAFT application pending. What happened was when we went to court, the judge had asked for proof of the RAFT application pending. And he did not want to be an email chain. So we let the folks at Metro Boston know that. They said to us, and it should be in our record, that use this email chain. This is proof enough that you have an active RAFT application. The judge denied that, accepting that, and the trial proceeded. And we weren't prepared for trial, clearly. And then that brings us here today.
Right. The hearing, the trial was back in June, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. And Ms. Legata had gotten some information from a housing specialist that there was a RAFT application and that it was already accepted and approved, and that was not the case. I think some misinformation or some miscommunication occurred, and so the judge allowed the trial to go forward that day. I'm
sorry. What did you say? What was the misinformation about the status of the RAFT application?
Yes, the status of the RAFT application. Attorney Legata said she had received information from a housing specialist that the RAFT application was approved. And it was approved? Was approved, but that was not the case. That's still not the case. RAFT, the folks at Metro Boston Housing, they're still waiting for information from the landlord.
Okay. Are you able to provide any letter from the administrator stating that you have an application pending? That's what the housing court judge asked for. You weren't able to supply it at that time for whatever reason. Can you supply it now? Can you supply it now?
They're telling us that they don't provide those letters. The email chain is enough. I can definitely request and try again, Your Honor. It's very frustrating. I know they're a very busy agency. They're probably overwhelmed right now. Sometimes we don't get a call back for a couple of days or email response back in a few days, but I can certainly try.
Yeah, well, the statute, the Chapter 257 of the Acts of 2020, which provides for a stay of various parts of an eviction proceeding if there is a RAFT application pending, says that one of the conditions for getting a stay is that there needs to be proof to the satisfaction of the court that a RAFT application is pending. And so that phrase in the statute, the law that says to the satisfaction of the court, at least suggests that the court is entitled to insist on some reasonable form of proof. And at least the emails that I saw didn't clearly say that an application was pending. They referred to, I mean, clearly there was some familiarity between, I believe it was Ms. Lamoni and the administrator, but I didn't see even a statement in an email that an application was pending.
They advised us that the MEN number that provided was proof that an application is in process, and we were assigned an application number.
Okay, well, I looked at the emails and I see a reference to an MEN number, but why would, even if the application had been denied, wouldn't that MEN number still exist? So it seems to me that the mere fact that there's a number doesn't necessarily establish a pending application.
No, I understand, Your Honor. And I don't know if you can tell in the emails, but I know in conversations as well, we basically begged them for some sort of letter on some letterhead to provide the court on that day. And they were telling us this email chain and the MEN number is more than enough proof, and the court should accept it. I understand why the court didn't accept it. I truly do. But we're at the mercy of the RAFT folks If they don't want to provide us with a written letter, where do we stand?
Right.
Just
Okay. Let me ask you a few other questions. Number one, do you and Ms. Lamoni assert that you are indigent? Because that's one of the issues that's relevant to whether you should get your appeal bond waived pending appeal.
Well, we're overwhelmed right now, Your Honor. I do have a job. I do have a steady job. I'm currently not working right now because of my medical event that happened on the 12th. So I'm not making any overtime, no details. She's got children. I've got children, and this just got out of hand. And so, in one way, do I make money? Yes, I do, sir. In another way, I can't pay for everything I have on my plate right now. I just can't.
Yep. Are you getting some kind of sick pay or sick leave, even if you're not getting overtime currently?
Yes, I had to fill out some paperwork with my folks at Stone and PD, and I'm waiting for approval on that, and I should start receiving my sick pay. Yes.
Okay, so it sounds like you're not asserting that you are actually indigent. I understand.
Yes, by the mere definition, I guess that would be correct.
Okay. All right. What issues would you raise on appeal? Is there anything that you disagree with about the eviction? Of course, no one wants to be evicted, but is there any legal reason why you shouldn't be, other than the pending raft application? In other words, do you dispute that the rent was overdue? And
no, I do not. I don't. But I do want to make clear that I tried to work with Attorney Legato as far as I broke down the monthly rent to weekly $812 a week, and I offered to pay that while we were, the appeal process was going through, while we were still here. We have every intention of leaving this residence. We've been actively looking for another home, and we hope to find one sooner rather than later, and get this behind us.
Okay. So you don't dispute that the rent was overdue?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. So then it seems as if the only issue is whether you have a pending raft application. Is that fair
Correct.
to say?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And you didn't file an answer in the housing court when you got the summary process eviction complaint. Is that correct?
I did not, because I wasn't prepared to go forward with summary process trial, because I thought that with the raft, I was told by the experts that with the raft application pending, the trial wouldn't go forward.
Okay. All right. You have 4.5 minutes left. Let me see if is there anything else that you want to say to complete the picture for me?
Yes. Well, Julianne has been experiencing some health issues as well. She has an autoimmune disorder. She recently had to have a bone marrow test. We're waiting those results. So it's been piling on, Your Honor, one thing after another. And I just want you to know that we're good people. We want to put this matter behind us. We want to start making payments, and I don't want to get into any more debt than I have to. And I would really like to work with the landlord and work on a move out date, and be cooperative. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Lamoni, is there anything that you want to add to what Mr. Kennedy has said?
No, I'm just, like I said, we've both been dealing right now with health problems. I got my bone marrow biopsy. I'm waiting for results. I'm hoping that, praying to God that there's no cancer cells in there, because I am literally in bed sometimes 3 days in a row with this autoimmune disorder. I have 3 children of my own. My oldest is going to college in September, and I'm trying to get loans and for him, and it's just crazy. And I'm working right now, but some days I have to miss work because I cannot get out of bed.
Okay. Well, I must say it sounds like a challenging situation for both of you, and you have my sympathy.
Thank you.
All right. So let me just make sure I don't have any other questions for either of you. All right. Is there any dispute about who the right person is at the raft administrator, I guess it's Metro Housing, from whom you would obtain verification. I see the name of, well, actually, I'm not sure I see a name on the emails. They're
Yes,
all signed.
General email box, and we have spoken, whether it's on the phone or via email, to different folks. But Julianne's looking up right now. Maybe she can find the name of the woman we have spoken to. Past.
Okay.
And like I said, Your Honor, they're very helpful. They're very nice. I honestly just think they're overwhelmed with everything. I really do. And right. I just really wish they just provided to me before that trial one little letterhead with a couple sentences on it, and I think we could have avoided a lot of this.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll come back to you if I have further questions for you.
Thank you.
All right. Why don't we reset the clock, and Ms. Legata, perhaps you can start by addressing what you understand to be the status of the raft application.
Absolutely, Your Honor. There is no pending raft application. On the day of trial, Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Lamoni were provided an order by the court by which that they needed to provide specific information, such as a letter from raft. I have seen in my practice where raft does provide information both to the attorney and or to the court, not just in the form of an email, whereby they provide that information.
Have you seen that letter? I'm sorry to interrupt, but have you seen such letters from Metro Housing Boston?
I have, Your Honor. I have also seen, I myself reached out to the RAF program before the trial, and I was told that I needed Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Lamoni's release in order to get information on their raft application. They refused to provide that to me. Okay. I then reached out to the Housing Court Specialist Department in Eastern Housing Court because they have a raft person that is stationed at the court. So the Housing Court Specialist checked with the raft individual and reported back to me that there was in fact no pending raft application, that a raft application had been approved. My concern is that there was never any communication with my client regarding any pending RAF application. My client searched all of their personal, their work emails, as well as the general email for Reading Commons. RAFT has never reached out to them. RAFT has never requested documentation. So it is our contention that there's no pending RAFT application. Even if there was a pending RAFT application, I obtained financial records from Mr. Kennedy's employer, and he made $166,000 last year as a police officer, not including detail. And this year, he made, since the beginning of the year, in just his salary alone, he made $65,000. Just to give you a little procedural history, these defendants moved into this apartment in October of 2021. They made a partial payment and they have not made a single payment since. Not a single payment since. He is not indigent, and I know that he said that. He makes ample salary. He wouldn't even qualify for RAFT if he was applying to it.
Yep.
And he owes in excess of $30,000 at this point. It's okay. Yes, Your Honor.
No, I'm sorry. Finish up, and then I have some questions for you.
So it's egregious to me that he claimed he was indigent on the form that he filed with the court, and also that he's claiming that he can't pay and that he has this pending RAFT application.
I'm not sure he did claim that he was indigent on the form, or perhaps you can point me to where he did.
Understand, Your Honor.
Yeah. So it seems like we have a factual dispute here about whether an application is pending or whether it perhaps even has been approved. Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Lamoni, would you give a release to Ms. Legata so that she could obtain direct verification from Metro Housing Boston, what the status is of your RAFT application?
That'd be fine by us.
All right. Ms. Legata, do you know in what form you'd need that release? And could you provide something that Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Lamoni could sign and return to you so that you can attempt to get that verification?
I can certainly provide them, type up a release and have them sign it and send it back. I would also just like to bring to the court's attention that the current rules under RAFT are that it's a maximum amount of $10,000, but the landlord has to agree to enter into a payment plan. So in order for any raft application to also be approved, there would need to be a payment plan in place. That is part of the new requirements under the raft program. I'm happy to reach out to the raft program once I relieve Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Lamoni's release to find out if there really is in fact a pending raft application.
Right, right. I mean, whether they get the relief that's sufficient under the application is not really the issue for me, as I'm sure you
Understood, Your Honor.
understand. It's merely whether an application is pending. So how quickly can we get this accomplished so that you, Ms. Legata, can seek the verification from the raft administrator?
I can prepare a release this morning and email it to Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Lamoni to have them sign and then send it to Metro Housing Boston. Metro Housing Boston is not always super quick to respond, but I can certainly attempt to get an answer quickly.
All right. Is that something that they would need to print out and actually sign with a wet ink signature and then photograph and email back to you and the administrator?
I believe that they could e-sign it and send it back to me. And I would ask that they provide me with their case manager's name as well as the MEN number. Okay.
Mr. Kennedy, Ms. Lamoni, I see that from the emails, an email from Ms. Lamoni from May 26th, that you say the raft application ID is MEN 108351. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Do you know, did you find the name of any contact person at Metro Housing Boston?
I'm looking over the emails. I have a couple emails I have, but I'm not sure if it's that, so it's like Mass PD at.
Yeah, those are general mailboxes.
Okay, those are the general mailboxes. Okay.
Your Honor, we don't indicate a name now, but she's going to actively keep searching.
All right. Well, yeah, if you could keep searching while Ms. Legata prepares this release, blank release. Do you believe, Ms. Legata, that electronic signatures are sufficient, or would it be better for Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Lamoni to print out a copy, sign it with a pen and photograph it and email it back?
Out of an abundance of caution, it would probably be better for them to print it out and physically sign it and then email me a copy.
Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Lamoni, are you able to do that on your end? Do you have a printer?
We do not, but we can get access to one.
All right, so you could print it, sign it, take a photo of it on your phone or however you need to, and email it back to Ms. Legata and email it to the Metro Housing people with a request. Okay.
I could even print, drop it off at her office. That's fine too. The original copy with the actual signature. So
okay.
As she said, we don't have any issues with it.
Okay.
Your Honor, I can have a printed copy delivered of the release delivered to their unit, and then all they need to do is sign it. They could bring it back to the management office and they could scan it and send it to me. But I would ask that there's a deadline by which they need to respond and provide this release. Yeah.
Well, if a representative of management comes to their unit and asks them to sign, I mean, can they sign it on the spot and just return it to by when could you get that over to them?
I could get that over to them within the next hour.
All right, Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Lamoni, would you be available at your unit to sign this release if it's brought over in the next hour?
Yes, we'll make ourselves available.
All right. So could you have 2 copies for them, Ms. Legata, so that they can keep a copy?
Yes, Your Honor.
And they can sign both?
Yes,
right.
Your Honor.
Okay. Why don't we proceed with that? And I guess we should set a date for a status report. I mean, it seems to me that we could at least have a status report by this time tomorrow about whether the release has been signed and whether it's been furnished to Metro Housing. And then if you can get any information from them about the status, please supply that as well in your status report. I'm going to ask Ms. Legata to file that status report. Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Lamoni, if you're able to get any additional information today on paper from Metro Housing about the status of your application, please also file a status report yourself by tomorrow morning, saying what the status is. That would be helpful to me.
Okay, and how would we provide that to you, sir?
How have you filed anything directly yet in this case?
I e-filed some items to Northeast, to the Housing Court, but not to the Appeals Court. Housing Court took care of the package and sent it over to you folks.
I see. Okay. Yeah. And I'm not seeing anything on our docket about your filing anything. Let me ask our clerk to come in here and tell us what's the best way for Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Lamoni to file something here, since they haven't apparently e-filed anything yet.
Your Honor, we would accept things either electronically filed at efilema.com or obviously by mail, but if you want to get it sooner in person, if they want to contact the clerk's office after the hearing, they can discuss, how best to get it to us.
Okay. And is there a particular person they should ask for?
Sean Connolly.
Sean Connolly. Okay. All right. So Mr. Kennedy, and is there a phone number? Mr. Clerk, is there a phone number they should use?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's just the main number, or is there a separate number?
They can call either the main number, which is on our website, or 617-356-3491.
617-356
3491.
3491. Okay. All right. So you have that, Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Lamoni?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
Okay. All right. So, sorry, were you saying something, Mr. Kennedy?
No, Your Honor.
No. Okay. Well, is there anything else that we can do now? Or should we just wait and see where we stand tomorrow morning? Ms. Legata, let me pose that question to you first.
Your Honor, it seems to be now that the only issue is whether there's a pending raft application, as the indigency is not applicable and the non-frivolous is also not applicable. So that seems to be the only pending issue before the court. So I believe it would be best to have a status report to you as to what the status of the raft application is.
Okay. Mr. Kennedy, Ms. Lamoni, anything to add to that, or do you differ from that at all?
No, Your Honor, we'll work on our end, try to get as much information as we can to provide to you, and we will sign those documents that Ms. Legata provides, and we'll move forward.
Good. All right. Well, we will await the status reports tomorrow. We may need to have a further hearing, but I think that's all we can do for today. So thank you, all of you, for appearing and for your cooperative attitude this morning. And we'll await the status reports and any further action after that. So
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, you're welcome, and good luck to all of you. This hearing is adjourned.
Thank you.